Hello, everybody. I'm John Evans, and you're watching another episode of Mid-Mod Money, the show that teaches you how to buy and sell vintage items for a profit. Thanks for watching. Happy Monday. We're happy to have you. I'll keep going if you want. You're going to see incredible things on today's program, like these 1970s Christmas ornaments still in the box. I bought these for $3 at a garage sale. And because of the cool shape, they're worth about 20 to 25 bucks. Now, before we get started, I think it's fair to remind you to subscribe to the show. That's how you win the free stuff. That's pure and simple. It's the best way I can explain it to you. Subscribe to the show. Also, you want to do me a favor personally, hit the like button now. Hit that like for a guy who wants to succeed in the YouTube sphere. Anyway, let's get started. We have a great show. These ornaments that I showed you are glass, and that is the theme of the show today. Glass, vintage glass. We're going to take a look at some of the cool stuff you can find in thrift stores and make money off it. Look, first thing I found was this creamer Scotty dog. Are you kidding me? That is adorable. This is made by L.E. Smith Glass Company. L.E. Smith made tons and tons of cool glass in the 60s and 70s. This I overpaid for. I'll admit it. I paid $6 for this. It's worth about $20. But I thought it was cool. I knew I was doing a show about glass. It was at Christian Crossing. You know, it's a charitable organization. What the heck? Next thing I found at another charitable organization. This I found at Habitat for Humanity. That's right. I saw these two champagne glasses there for 50 cents each. And this is a good lesson to pick stuff up. I wasn't even going to pick these up. I figured, oh, those must be plastic, right? And then I picked them up and I was like, well, they're not plastic. And then I did this. What? I heard that. And that means they are crystal. Not always. But if something has a ring like that, that is crystal. And it turns out these were. I just bought them without even researching. I'm thinking 50 cents each. These are made by a company called Bayel French Crystal in France. I guess it would stand to reason French crystal is in France. But this is like a Greek goddess. There's a guy, a Roman god maybe, that goes with this one, and this is just a set of seahorses. The goddess, between $20 and $30 is what they sell for. The seahorse, 30 to 40 bucks. So if you were trying to put together a set of Bayel French crystal, I'm the guy on eBay. Next thing I found was this. Kind of a myth. All right, the fight's over. Stay down. Next thing I found, this awesome cobalt blue freeform bowl. It's $2 at a garage sale here in Oakland, Maryland. Now, $2 for this is crazy. As you can see on the bottom, it's got a very dull finish, right? It's very dull and it's scratched up. So that means it has some age to it. And this looks a lot like Blenko glass. I would never say for certain that it is, but it sure feels like some of the Blenko things I've had. Green in color, bowls like this, dishes like this, but I can't say for certain. And the only one on eBay just calls it a freeform glass bowl. Now they want $58 for it, and I think that's ridiculous. I think unless I could prove this is Blenko, I think it's probably in the $35 range, somewhere in there. 35 though, off of 2, and that's why garage sales are king. Next thing I found, speaking of cobalt, I found 2 of these at the, Somerset Salvation Army, I think. Goodwill, used to be a Goodwill Bins. It's just a regular Goodwill now in Somerset, perhaps. I go to so many thrift stores. Sometimes I don't even know it. These were $1.99 for the pair. These are made by Hazel Atlas, and they do have a very nice Art Deco kind of vibe to them. Those little arrows are super cool. These are worth about $26 for the creamer and the sugar bowl. Hazel Atlas glass. Kind of common, but they're still sought after. Nice set of glass creamer sugar. Next thing I found, holy smokes. I've never seen this pattern of glass in my life. Not priced. There's the price. There's 6 of these. I found these at City Mission Thrift in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. There's 2 blue, 2 pink, a blue-green, and a yellow. So 6 total. They were asking $7.95, which I paid immediately because I knew these were 60s because of the look. But I cannot find these anywhere on the entire of the internet. So if you know who made these, if you're out there, do a guy a solid and tell me. Sight unseen without even knowing what the company. It looks like the Partridge Family designed these freaking things. They're probably worth about $50, unless they were made by some bigger name. And usually those are signed, so there's no signature, no nothing. I'm going to say $50 on the mid-century modern set of cocktail glasses. Next thing I found at my local Goodwill store here in Oakland, Maryland. Look at this. This is pretty spectacular, and it's definitely modern. It is made by a company called Lennox. I think a lot of people know Lennox makes all kinds of different and various glass. Some art glass, which this is like some people call this an anemone vase because it has that characteristic. Its actual name is a Sea View Ombre vase. Sea View, obviously that feels a little oceanic. Feeling a little oceanic. It's a nice vase. It was $9 at my local Goodwill. $9. Even though it's newer, to me, it probably will sell in the $40 to $50 range. Now, I think new, they probably were charging in the $100 to $150. I mean, I can't say that for sure, but it feels like a big statement piece, big centerpiece. That's what it's considered to be, a centerpiece. This is a Lennox Ombre Sea View vase. Now, we're down to our last item, and also pretty sweet. This was also at City Mission Thrift, different trip. Walk in, see this. There it is. There it is. In fact, it is a Swung vase. This is, when you say Swung, we've talked about this. When they're making this, this is on the end, and they pull it around, and it elongates the vase. So when you hear Swung vase, now the reason I almost fell over, because I thought this was a Viking Swung vase. Turns out it isn't. But it also didn't have a price, so I had to go to the guy who works there, my hat in my hand, and say, "Sir, this does not have a price on it. Could you find out what the price is?" And he goes, "I'll check." He goes in the back, comes back out, and he says, "We will be asking $6.99 for this vase." And I said, "I'll take it. Sold American. I want this vase." It's 12 inches high. Not the long ones of these get to be $200 with, the 2 feet tall Swung vases. This is the entry level Swung vase, generic, run of the mill, mom and pop Swung vase. So $6.99. It was 7 something. He asked me if I wanted to round up. I told him I would. So $8. I'm in at this for $8. Unfortunately, the Viking version of this is worth about $100. This is probably L.E. Smith. And the reason I know that, because the Viking version has about 6 petals, maybe 8 petals. This one has a bunch of little petals around the edge. So I think this is L.E. Smith and not Viking, but still a $50, $40 to $50 Yeah, around that. Somewhere, I think low end, 40. Might cut it in the middle, say 45. That's what I'm going to probably ask for. This Swung vase in the great Amberina color. That's what they call this orange and reddish color. Amberina. Ask for it by name. So what did I do? I spent 31 of my own dollars, 31 American dollars, and I'm going to turn that into $284 through my booths, some eBay, and that's about $250 profit. So not bad on vintage glass, and you can do it too. Heck, do you have Google Lens on your phone? I mean, that's half the battle. And keep watching my program, of course. Don't want to discount that. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. And remember, most importantly, always round up.